Ladies and gentlemen, it's Ebro and Rosenberg. Laura was like, I gotta go take care of the baby, and I got stuff I gotta do, and she wanted to say she congratulates Zelina Vega. But I jumped on and was invited into a wrestling conversation.
Well, this is the women's United States champion Zelina Vega. First of all, welcome. Hey, hi.
Hi.
More so than that, though, this is a lady who has been grinding for so long in pro wrestling. There's so many different aspects that make you interesting, but I feel like up until very recently, I would go up to when I'd see you, I'd be like, "Can you believe that you're here?" Because you spent so long on the path at TNA,
hmm
Indies, doing everything. In fact, sometimes Ebro, she's one of those people who's been around so long that I'll check how old she is, and I'm like, "Are you ever getting old?" Because I feel like you've been around forever already. Um,
hmm
how long was your journey of pro wrestling before you made it to WWE?
All I know is that I was 17 when I started, so that was back in 2008. Yeah, so I was 17 when I started. I'm 34 now, so it's been a while.
So, Zelina, can I ask? Because my interest here, I love wrestling. I like it, but I'm not obviously in it like Rosenberg is. But I'm more interested in your commitment to something that you're passionate about and that you love, and you were willing to dedicate yourself to achieving what you've gotten so far. What was the thing that you said, I'm doing this no matter what? Because that's a lot of commitment, right? Thing does
Yeah.
not, I hear the stories, right? It's not like you're making a bunch of money in the indies. It's not like you're not doing it. Maybe fame comes, but you better love it.
Right, right. I mean, it was something that I wanted to do since I was like 4 years old. But my family were huge wrestling fans. Like we would always go to like Madison Square Garden. We were like the crazy ones that would make like the huge "Just Bring It" signs. Like everyone had a letter kind of thing. But it was just yeah. I think around like 7 years old, I remember seeing Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero at Halloween Havoc, and when I saw that match, I was like, well, he's small. And I really didn't think I could because I was like, I think I'm too small. I'm not like China, so I didn't think I could do it. But then when I saw Ray and I was like, okay, he's a lot smaller. Like, why can't I do that then? And then I remember seeing Lita and I'm like, okay, well, she's not really girly or blonde or anything, so then why can't I do that? So there's
Mm.
certain things that, once I saw them that I was like, all right, I think I can. But for me, it was something that my dad and I really shared. And that was like our big thing. I mean, I still have like the foam fingers that he got me, like the Hardy's like foam fingers from back in the day. But the funny thing is, like, he wrestled in high school, so I still have like his wrestling trophies and stuff. But he wanted to be a wrestler, and I remember saying like, "Oh well, if you don't do it, like I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna be the wrestler of the family." And he'd be like, "Okay," like he'd support it, but he didn't think I would actually go and do it. And he passed away in 9/11 in the World Trade Center
I
attacks. And
heard
I
that.
remember thinking like, there's a lot of people that just completely lost their way after that. And for me, I was like, all right, what's the one thing that we shared more than anything? Like, how can I honor him in the best of ways? And for me, it was wrestling. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do this for me, but I also want to fulfill his dream too, and bring a title to him. Like that was my biggest thing. I was like, I want to bring a championship to his name and be able to say like,
Mm.
here, I finally did it.
Daddy, she did it. She did it.
It's crazy when you think about the ups and downs because just a couple of years ago there was that show at MSG. Was
hmm
it on 9/11?
It was the night before. I think it was the night before.
It
Yeah.
was the night before 9/11, and the expectation, at least among fans, and I think to you to some degree, was that you would have something cool to do, and it was just one of those moments in wrestling where you feel like you've made it so far, and then this
hmm
thing that you think you're going to have doesn't happen. Um,
Yeah.
how hard was that, and then how gratifying was it to keep your head down, just keep grinding, and now be holding the United States Championship?
It sucked. I mean, if I'm being honest, like it completely sucked, especially because it wasn't even just something that I assumed I'd be a part of. It was something that I was promised to be a part of. And I think that's why I was like, okay, let's have my family out in the first. Or like, I think that was the worst part is like having to call my family and be like, yeah, actually, this isn't gonna happen. Like, let's just go because
Mm.
it was, and it's like you said, the fans knew that I was from there. We all kind of like expected me to be. We were announced, like our match was announced. So yeah, no, it's, I just remember thinking like, all right, like I'm done. Like I did have a moment where I was telling Vince, I'm like, this is probably one of the most disrespectful things ever. Like I'm good. But I remember him just like apologizing to me so much. Like he let me have 9/11 and just left me to that. But then the next day he was like super apologetic and he was like, let's just talk, like come to my office and we'll figure out what's next. And I think he kind of took me more seriously after that because he was like, okay, if she was willing to basically tell me off, like I think she's serious. And then obviously Queen of the Ring happened after that, and the tag titles happened after that. So I think it was something that just it's a part of the story, but it's not where it ended, and it could have, but it's not where it ended. And for me now, it's just ironic that the United States Championship is the one that I was able to bring to him out of all of them. I'm like, it could have been Intercontinental because I was on Raw, but it ended up being the United States Championship. So I feel like it was like the perfect storybook of like, I want to say ending, but the perfect storybook, I guess like part of that story is bringing
Yeah.
this specific title. Yeah.
Zelina, you see Rosenberg at work a lot.
I see. Well, I saw you recently at WrestleMania for
Yeah,
sure.
we
So
actually don't see each other that much. I mean,
Got
like
it.
every
Okay.
every few, because it's just when I work premium live events, if you're not on the premium live event, you won't be there necessarily. And I don't work regular TV, so we see each other every few months, I'd say.
Got
yeah.
it. Okay. So it wouldn't really make sense for me to ask what's he like at work.
I mean,
I
she
mean,
can
I
give you
do. I
something.
mean, from what I know, you're pretty much the same. I'd say that, but that's what I like
So
about
he
you. Like, you
doesn't
kind of
change
like.
up. He's not acting different.
No, I think that's also what I like about him because it does like there's like a sense of home, especially anybody from New York that I get to see at work. I'm always like, there's like a weird sense of home, especially if I hear an accent. I'm like, all right, okay, like
Right.
you know what I'm saying. But especially because I've known him for so long, and he's seen the when I say like the journey from Jump Street, like from the very beginning, I was a baby to now, is just insane. So it's nice to be surrounded by those people too.
There's this picture of me and her from Coney Island
Hmm.
in, I don't know, what is that, 2010?
Something like that, yeah.
2010, 11, it's in the your early TNA days, so 11, 12,
Hmm.
whatever. You were a kid. Like in retrospect, I didn't
Yes.
realize it, but you were like a kid at that time.
Yeah.
And I
Hmm.
was I was her man, I was like her guest manager in a match in Coney Island against Gail Kim.
Which is still kind of crazy to even say that out loud, but yeah.
Yeah, a whole lifetime ago. And I've also carried, I'm not gonna I have to say this, I've carried a guilt related to Thea Zelina for a long time because
Uh-oh.
because we did an interview years ago and I loved it and it ended up getting lost in our digital department.
Damn it.
Oh, I
And
didn't do that.
see, that makes me honestly, it makes me feel so much better. I shouldn't have even brought it up, but I wanted to be real because I said it to my wife the other day. I was like, Thea reached out to me about us doing something. I was like, I'm so excited to do it because we lost this. I lost this thing years ago, and I
Yeah.
hate that it's gone. Losing an interview as an interviewer is a horrible feeling. Ebro, it's a weird thing, right? Like when you find out it didn't record for some reason, you're like, whoa, how? Anyways, I always carried guilt with it.
There's some legendary losses that I've had to cover, and you know what I mean. Walking flames for.
Well, not well. Also, Ebro's then also recreated some things that are pretty amazing too. So, anyways, I always felt bad about that. So when this moment happened, I felt it was another great thing when you're like, we talked about doing something. I was like, absolutely, we're getting you on Hot 97 right now because we had our conversation when she was still in TNA. This is
Right.
many,
Yeah.
many years ago, and you have to understand, Ebro, like TNA now has a relationship with WWE, and there's a lot of crossover, and it's all coup de la.
Duckies
Back-
and bunnies.
It's duckies and bunnies now. At the time in which Thea was there as Rosita, this is years before Zelina Vega, and she was running around with LAX doing God knows what. The idea of her being here, it was still like a way fantasy, right? Like
Yes.
the idea that you've now been in WWE for years must be a crazy thing for you sometimes. You met your husband there. Your whole life is
Oh wow!
there.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And he
Yeah,
just
no,
came back
it's-
to the company as well.
Yeah. After what, like 3.5 years of not being there? Yeah.
So does it ever blow your mind, though, that like you've kind of become this like, you'll probably end up being kind of a WWE lifer? It's like kind of a crazy thing, no?
Yeah. Well, I think also because they saw me as a manager first and they saw what I was like as a manager first. So they know that they can always go back there if they want to. But yeah, it's kind of strange, especially because I said it the other day, I'm like, has it really been 7 years? Like that's so weird, 7 years, and then um I don't know. It's just there's certain things that I was a part. I remember Tommy Dreamer was talking about it recently, and I was like, I guess I really did do that, or I guess that really did happen. It's just weird to think that where it's like you said, where it started to where it is now. It's just insane. But I really back then I didn't think that this was going to be a thing. I really didn't think, especially as a champion. Like no, I didn't think that.
You also got to have a match in Puerto Rico, which was pretty amazing. Ebro, she came out with her gear that she came out with was like her robe. Or how would you describe what it was?
It was more like a cape.
It was
Yeah.
more like a cape. When she opened her arms, she was like a flying Puerto Rico flag bat.
Love it. Puerto Rican superhero. The heroine has arrived to save the island.
It was awesome, man. How cool was that? How much love did you feel?
It honestly is like one of the most amazing feelings, not just in my career, but in my life. Like that. And I didn't even know that it was going to be that. That's another thing. Like it wasn't supposed to go like that at all. So that's also why I think it was like one of those things that were meant to be, It's just, I remember hearing, okay, the match is going to be super quick, like, whatever. You're just there to, put over her strength and whatever first title
This was
defense.
against Rhea Ripley, Ebro, who is like
I know that
yeah,
name.
you know Rhea. She's up there. She's one of the biggest stars in the world. Yeah.
Yeah, but she's also just like my weirdo neighbor. But anyways, yeah.
By the way, facts.
Yes, no, literally, she moved like next door to me, so yeah, we do cosplays randomly together. But yeah, it's and to be honest though, I'm really glad that if anybody, it was her, because that moment couldn't have been more perfect to share with someone that I'm so close with. So I did see that interview, by the way, that you guys did, where she was like, "Yeah, if they can make Zelina cry because she doesn't cry," and I'm like, "Damn, like she just outed me like that." Like I really hate crying. Like it's really like I hate it. And I said it to Ray when we were going out, when I was going out too. I was like, I don't want to get emotional. He's like, just calm down. Like just be in the moment. If you're gonna be happy about it, be happy. If you're gonna be sad, or cry, or whatever you're gonna do, just like surrender to that moment, or else you're gonna like really regret it.
Why
And
do
I
you
was like,
think
okay.
that's a thing for you? Like, do you think that does something tie back to being sort of like a 9/11 kid, for lack of a better word? Like, where do you think that comes from?
Honestly, exactly that. I remember hating that term so much, like when I was younger, because I didn't want to be looked at or
Was that
categorized
the
as that.
term? Was that the
Yeah.
term? Okay.
For the longest time. And then it's just like I don't know, there was something in me that just fought that so much. But I remember I didn't like we're getting into the psychological here, but like I didn't want to accept it. For the longest time. Like, mind you, my dad used to pick me up when I was a kid, like every weekend. So I would still, even after 9/11 happened, I still got ready thinking that it was
Mm,
going to happen,
mm, mm.
so I think psychologically it just paused me in that moment. And that's why I didn't really get emotional at the funeral. I didn't really get emotional. Like it took me until like 15 years old. And I remember the moment that it happened where it set in and I realized like the gravity of it. So that's when I cried and I hated that feeling. A lot of people would think that it would be like, refreshing or something that I finally get it out. But I hated that feeling. And I think that's really what it is. I don't like being uh raw, and I don't like being like feeling vulnerable. I guess is probably the best way. But for some reason that night it just was probably the best thing that I did, because I think it let me feel that moment on a deeper level because I was able to let go.
Zelina, how now moving forward, right? So much, I'm hearing Rosenberg talk about your path, your journey, right? Like all of these emotional highs and lows and things you've had to deal with. When you look forward, what are you looking forward to, like in your mind? And how do you even do that in the business that you're in? Like, how do you know what's coming for you? How do you prepare?
So you honestly don't. And I think that's the thing for me, is like I like to stay as prepared as possible, because you never know it. Like I had no idea this was happening. No clue. I remember kind of being like, damn, I wish I would have known, because I had specific gear for this. Like I really wanted to wear specific gear, because everybody knows, like when it comes to gear, I'm so big on planning, like I said, the Puerto Rico one. I wanted to be a walking Puerto Rican flag. Like I wanted to have every piece of me scream Puerto Rico. But for this one, I wanted to do All Mike from My Hero Academia. Like I had like specifics like of things I wanted to do. So you can't really get ready for something, but you can at least kind of have it in the back of your mind, like, oh, if this happens, then this. But I also like, whether it's workout wise, whether it's training wise, like I like to stay as ready as I can. But as far as future, it's like this is an amazing feeling, and I love the fact that I actually have this now, and it's my first singles title, so it means the world to me. But I still have a yearning, a craving. I still salivate over the world championship. Like the WWE Women's World Championship is still one that I really want, and I'm hoping that before this is all done, that I at least say that I've gotten that title too.
That's dope. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we'll be rooting for. That's what we'll be looking out for. Who you got to take out to get it?
Depends.
Well, I mean, right now it's Io. Right now it's Io and Tiffany Stratton. So two people
I don't know
I'm
them.
also really close with.
I don't know them.
Yeah.
It's light work. Let's get to work. I never heard of them. They not? Are they from New York?
No.
Fuck them even. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, take it a step further. You know what I mean? But, by the way, where exactly in Queens are you from?
Queens Village.
It is. Bow.
Yeah.
So at MSG, maybe like the title moment at MSG or something like that. That would probably be the ultimate, huh?
I think so. And I think the other thing that can top that is probably if we went back to Puerto Rico. Because I didn't expect the fans to rock with me that hard. Because it's you never really know, especially because Rhea was so over. Like especially back then, like she was just starting to get on her big wave. So I think like the fact that we actually had her booed, mind you, that was the only time that she ever was booed was then. So I think that would probably be the two moments that it would be like perfect Perry.
Did you and Benito have any
Just
sort
about
of?
to ask that.
Yeah, because that night for him, obviously, that night was kind of set up for it was a Benito party, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I was rewatching the highlight because it was Backlash last week. So when they were showing the highlight of Bad Bunny in Puerto Rico, I remembered him coming out to his record, the whole stadium singing his own song as he has his own match. I'm like, I don't even know if wrestling fans know how crazy it is that we have him doing this stuff. Like, it's literally, I can't even come up with the comp. It might as well be Madonna in the friggin' ring. It's insanity. What's he like, and how much have you guys, is there any sort of bond? There aren't that many Puerto Rican superstars in the locker room. You got Priest also. There are a handful for sure. But have you and Benito gotten to bond at all?
I wouldn't say bond. But I think it was just he had so many people pulling him in 50 different directions. For him, I'm like, I don't know how he does it, because he was like here, and then he was here, and then he was like, he has to like speak to so many different people who are handling different things for him. And then it was like, oh, but I still got to do the match. And then he would go with Priest, and they would go handle that. So like he was all over the place. The most time I've spent with him, honestly, was that moment in the ring where it was like me, him, Ray, like Santos, all of us together. That was probably the most time I spent with him, which is crazy. And it's like, I've never seen him in the same spot for more than like a minute, because he moves so fast and his brain is like working at a million miles an hour. But he's super nice. And I think, I mean, we owe a lot to him in that way, because I feel like a big part of the reason like why this happened was because of him. So I mean, if we're really giving any kind of props, it should go to him, because that he made that all possible. And I think especially for the island, it's like we felt like we were represented in such an amazing way, and for someone that we love so much. So it was he's super nice. And I think that's also a thing, is like how you can be juggling so much, and have such a weight, because like that was a big match, for him to have. And it's like, no,
Ebro, I gotta send you a link. You gotta watch this match, Ebro, because like Ebro knows.
I didn't see the match for sure, but I definitely saw. I feel like I saw the walkout.
Yeah, you probably saw the walkout, which was sick. But like, as someone who like you interview him and know him in that music world, you got to watch this guy as an athlete. It's a crazy thing to watch. He's good. Like he's legit, very good. Congratulations.
But I just want to say, Benito, if you're watching this, Zelina might have to snuff you, God. You know what I'm saying? If that's the path, you might have to get snuffed.
I mean, listen, he was courtside at the Knicks game. Like, listen, respectfully, it's kind of Zelina's town. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't
talk to him.
So I'm just saying, if he wants to be courts, Anyways, congrats. I'm always super happy for you, but this is this is some icing on this cake of your journey that has been awesome to watch. So,
well, I mean, to be fair, and also like kind of weird, but you're just talking about my husband earlier, and it's like, the fact that, mind you, this was not planned, which I laugh a lot when I see a lot of the fans are like, oh my God, the only reason that she got this title is because her husband was coming back. I'm like, don't you think that would have been the world title? But anyways, secondly, like just to have this happen the same night, literally only 10 minutes apart from when he came back, was another moment where you're like, did
That's
this freaking
crazy.
happen?
His native language is Dutch?
Yeah.
What's better, his Spanish or your Dutch at this point?
Oh, his Spanish for sure.
He can
Yeah, he
hang?
can actually roll his R's. Yeah.
Oh, and you can't snark and snookin'?
It's really difficult. It's really difficult for me to say my new last name, and I can't even like.
What is your last name?
I can't. Well, it's budging when you say it without the like.
Yeah, that's how I
accent.
read it. But what's the proper way?
It's like boojin?
Buchen, like with a, you know.
It's got
buchen.
a hook, a boost.
It's got a hook in there.
Yeah, but I can't hard enough, so it's like.
Well, listen, you guys work on that on your own time. Congratulations, champ. Appreciate you making time.
Thank you so
Congrats,
much.
Zelina.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, guys.
Take care.